We are pleased to welcome Dr. Ben Dworkin, Director of Rowan Institute for Public Policy and Citizenship. Good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you, Steve. Thanks so
much.
much.
It's been a long time. Let folks know what this institute is all about.
The Rowan Institute for Public Policy and Citizenship is based at Rowan University in Glassboro, New Jersey. It's about 18 months old right now. I'm the founding director. And it's designed to inform, engage, and train Rowan students, Rowan faculty, and the public in all aspects of applied politics and public policy. And our general view is that everybody needs to know enough politics to be dangerous, to be engaged, to be informed. This is the bread and butter of how any citizen can make a difference. And we try and make sure people understand the process, have experience in the process, particularly our students.
You know, I'm curious. You and I have had so many on-air and off-air conversations over the years. And I often like to say we don't do politics. We do more policy. Can you separate the two?
Sure, you can separate the two in terms of talking about it.
How about the reality of making public policy? Quite political?
It's all political. Because it is, but this is why. Because anybody can come up with a good policy, but unless you have the votes, and you know this as well as anybody, unless you have the votes to pass that policy.
In New Jersey, 21 and 41?
In the New Jersey,
21. 21, 41, and 1.
Exactly.
21 in the Senate, 41 in the Assembly, and 1 the governor, whoever that is at the time.
Exactly. And those are the most important numbers, whatever it is we are debating in terms of public policy here in New Jersey. The reports, they're out there. There are any number of think tanks. They'll be out there. People will read them. But until you can find the votes, it doesn't mean much.
It's interesting. You mentioned think tank, which is the name of our sister series as well. What's so interesting is that when people use the word think tank in academia, it's some ivory tower stuff in some people's minds, and it's distant, and it's not connected to people's lives. A, that's not what our series is. B, that's not who you want to be.
No, it's absolutely not. We really want our students to become engaged. So one of the things we do, right, we put together a giant internship guide with over 100-odd internship opportunities.
What kind of places?
Anywhere from state legislators to advocacy groups, trade associations, anything that's going to get that person experience. And we find that for students who are looking, they want to be able to get a job afterwards. The more internships you do, the data shows, the much more likely you're able to find a job 6 months after graduation. But that's real life experience. You've been exposed to it. You've seen how it works. So it's not just I understand the policy, but that you understand how these things get done.
Ben, let's focus on New Jersey.
Sure.
Top 3, in your mind, public policy issues, questions, challenges we faced that we should be focusing most of our attention on include?
Number 1 is the fiscal health of the state. And that it's a large part of...
You simply mean tax policy?
No, it's not just tax policy, because it deals with, the fact is we owe billions of dollars to our pension system.
Public employee pension system.
Yes, to the state pension system and state health benefits. That is something that has to be dealt with at some point and somehow. And we're doing a little bit better towards it, but we're still, because of decades of
just not funding it. The state not funding it.
State not putting its share. These employees put their share in, and the state didn't.
What about when the state said we can't afford it?
It was a decision they didn't make, and we have to pay for it.
What's the price we're paying for it?
That's exactly it. Look, if I said I couldn't pay off my credit card that month, eventually I got to pay off my credit card.
But in government, they don't take your credit card back?
Apparently not. And so we still, look, the fiscal health, the fact is we're growing, we're coming out of the recession, but we're not growing as fast as our neighboring states. So it's economic health, it is economic growth, it is that. You've got property taxes. It's still a giant
Are we the number one
issue.
property tax state in the nation?
Yes, more per capita than anybody else.
So stay on that.
Okay. So
hold on.
Yeah.
We have the highest property taxes in the nation. The Trump administration and the Republican Congress said, we will limit your state and local deductions, your property tax deduction combined with your state income tax deduction to 10 grand. There are a whole lot of folks who pay a lot more than 10 grand.
A lot of folks.
So we cap it at 10. What does that mean? Has it made it worse?
Sure, it's made it worse. There might be, I mean, there have been some reports about other deductions help offset it.
But most people.
But the fact is, most people are paying more than $10,000 in a suburban state like New Jersey.
So is that a federal policy that impacts us in the state that the state can't do anything about?
It's a thing that we have to continue fighting. We're part of the system. You know, you've got votes from New Jersey's congressional delegation fighting it. But you got to convince all these people from Utah to make sure that they
Do
vote.
they care about us?
People from Utah?
Yeah, do they sit there and go, wow, New Jersey, California, New York, they got the shaft on this state and local tax deduction thing.
They don't care. The fact is they don't care as much as we'd want them to. But that's what... And look, and that's why after Superstorm Sandy, when we needed $30 billion, so we needed a huge amount of things. We saw the devastation it came, but the fact is you needed 218 votes in the House of Representatives to get it, and it takes a while, and the folks from Texas weren't necessarily going to do it. Sometimes they were just being hypocritical, right? They're ready to take
they wanted it when they had a
tornado
problem.
aid, right? Exactly. But now we had to find ways to do it, and that's where I mean the politics always gets mixed up with the policy. That's a federal policy that absolutely affects us here in New Jersey. The Gateway Tunnel. This is a huge thing. We are desperately in need of a new rail tunnel that connects northern New Jersey to New York City. Because it is it's the major artery for virtually all of commerce on the East Coast. It will have ripple effects. And had we started this back in 2010, when it was slated to go into effect, we'd be finishing it by now. But we haven't. And that is something that was a sacrifice, and other decisions were made and other priorities were were decided upon. And so you have, again, now you have a situation where the federal government doesn't even want to fund it.
Real quick, when it comes to public policy in New Jersey, the governor and the Senate president, even if they agree on certain things, don't seem to be on the same page. That affect all of us?
It affects everything, of course. You have to be able to get along. When you have real dysfunction, you have what happens in Washington, where they just don't talk to each other, and then they literally shut down the entire federal government for months. That is ridiculous. We have not gotten that bad here, as bad as it sometimes can be. But you worry about it. You have to worry about it, because everybody has a stake in keeping this process in government going. This isn't, if you want to agree with somebody, you'll look in the mirror. But it's politics, and you have to work with people, and hopefully everyone finds a way to move forward.
And by the way, that's the citizenship part of it, because it affects all of us, not just students at your institution, but everyone.
Absolutely.
Ben Dworkin, Dr. Ben Dworkin, Director of Rowan Institute for Public Policy and Citizenship. This is State of Affairs. We'll be right back. Check it out.
State of Affairs with Steve Adubato is a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 30 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this edition of State of Affairs with Steve Adubato has been provided by Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, Hackensack Meridian Health, New Jersey Sharing Network, Community Food Bank of New Jersey, Valley Bank, NJ Best, New Jersey's 529 College Savings Plan, and by the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey. Promotional support provided by New Jersey Monthly and by Jaffe Communications,